let's just quickly chat about how we might want to structure this.
Okay.
You can kind of wing it. Here are the things I really want to capture. And if you want, I can. I don't want to show you all the questions because I don't want it to feel stale. You know what I mean? And I've been studying the best people. They don't give questions in advance.
Yeah.
But the
No,
things
I prefer the
that we
questions just on the hit, off the cuff. Just go, and I'll answer. I have answers for almost everything I saw on Twitter. I'm raring to go.
okay, all right. So, Tom, welcome to Notes from the Front. Thank you so much for being our first guest.
Oh, I'm so excited, Michelle. Thank you for having me here. I can't wait to get into this.
Me too. All right. So today we're going to talk about drug addiction, recovery, and advocacy for recovery. Tom is a recovering addict or recovered addict. How do you refer to yourself?
I'm a recovering addict.
Okay.
We're always addicts forever now, so it's just about we're continuously working on our recovery to stay in recovery.
And we should talk about that because I know that's one of the tenets of 12 steps, right?
That's right.
Which you went through. Okay. And you're an advocate for recovery and a very public one. I can just share quickly Tom and I became friends through Twitter. We were both tweeting about the drug overdose crisis in the streets of San Francisco, which is at this point internationally renowned. Um, Tom, maybe to kick us off, can you share sort of not the short version of your story, but maybe the medium version of your
Okay.
story, how you got here today, and then let's get into a conversation about what's going on in San Francisco, the politics, the ethics. A lot of people want to hear from you, so I'll let you take us away.
Great. Well, thank you, Michelle. So, long story short, I had foot surgery in early 2015. And after the surgery, they had to reset my broken foot and put two titanium screws in it. They sent me home with a 30-day supply of 10 milligram oxycodone tablets. I unfortunately did not use those tablets as directed. I got addicted to them because the one tablet every 4 to 6 hours was not doing it for the pain. So I started using two. And then one day I took three pills. And when I took those three pills, I kind of hit this euphoria where I was truly high, for lack of a better term. All my problems melted away. Any financial problems I was having, marital problems I was having, plus the pain were all gone for 3 or 4 hours, and life was good. And I basically spent the next 5 years chasing that same high again. And that over that 5 year period, it led me into financial ruin. I quit my job. I bankrupted my family. My house went into foreclosure because I was using all my money to purchase drugs on the street because I couldn't get them from my doctor anymore. And I was spending about $210 a day on oxycodone tablets on the street. And this was throughout 2015 and 2016 and into early 2017, when basically my wife figured out what was going on, cut me off from all the money, and I only had a little bit of money at that point, so I switched over to heroin, which was a fraction of the price. You could buy an eighth of a gram of heroin on the street for $10. And I started, becoming an intravenous drug user. I went and got some syringes, which are readily available throughout the city, and I started shooting heroin. Gave myself sepsis from shooting heroin. I would miss my veins sometimes, and I would get abscesses all over my body from different places I would try to shoot up. I ended up in the hospital in intensive care, intubated with a tube down my throat. I almost died from the sepsis. You would have thought that would have been kind of like the red flag to, hey, maybe you need some help and you need to stop this. But it's funny because in the hospital they were actually giving me Dilaudid for the pain, which is another opioid. So I was plenty high in the hospital, and then instead of stopping, I just continued to smoke heroin on foil, and later on that spiraled or transformed into fentanyl towards the end of my time of using. And basically the straw that broke the camel's back was that one night about 2 in the morning, I woke up from sleeping. I was in withdrawal from heroin, and I didn't have any money, but my wife had some money in her purse that I think she was going to use for groceries, and I stole it. And I took the car and I drove down to the Tenderloin, and I didn't go home for 11 days. I went on an 11-day bender in the Tenderloin, just using, kind of just hanging out in the Tenderloin. And finally, after on the 11th day, I remember the police came knocking on the window of my car, and I was passed out in my car, and I had foil and straws and all this crack pipe. I had all this stuff everywhere. And instead of the police arresting me, they just told me to go home because my wife had filed a missing persons report on me. So I actually drove home, and my wife was waiting for me with a packed bag saying, I got you a room at a drug treatment facility. You can either go there or you can get out. And at that very moment, I was in withdrawal from heroin. So I made the decision to leave, and I walked away from my wife and my kids and my house. And I proceeded to go to the Tenderloin where I lived on the street for the next 6 months, using heroin, crack cocaine, and eventually fentanyl.